Welcome to DH Tech. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something pretty fascinating, agricultural drones.
Yeah, it's a really exciting space.
We've looked at, well, tons of information reports, case studies, farmer experiences, basically trying to piece together what's happening.
And there's a lot happening.
Our mission today really is to figure out why these drones are suddenly taking off in farming and, what that means for how our food gets produced.
Absolutely. It might still seem a bit futuristic to some, but these drones are already making a real difference out there.
Oh, really? Like, how widespread are we talking?
Well, recent figures show hundreds of thousands of these drones operating globally.
Yeah.
They've covered hundreds of millions of hectares already.
Wow. Okay. That's not niche anymore then.
Not at all. It's a clear sign this is becoming a serious tool for farmers.
Okay, so let's get into it. What's the big draw? I mean, it can't just be that they look cool flying over a field, right? There must be solid advantages over, say, tractors or traditional crop dusters.
Exactly. Think about those big tractors. They compact the soil. Crop dusters spray, well, pretty broadly. Lots of potential for drift and waste.
Right.
Drones bring incredible precision to the table. When you can put resources, water, pesticides, fertilizer exactly where they need to go and only where they need to go, the efficiency gains are huge.
They're not targeted application.
Precisely. We're seeing some really compelling examples, like there was this potato farmer in Washington State. Using drones for targeted spraying, they saw an 80% drop in insect damage. 80%.
80. Wow. That's massive. That's savings on chemicals and saving the crop itself.
Exactly. Big impact on the bottom line.
And this is where it gets really interesting for me. Beyond just saving the farmer money or hassle, what about the environmental side? Agriculture has a pretty big footprint.
It does. And that's another major plus for drones when you're using less water, fewer chemicals. Well, the environmental wins stack up fast.
How fast? Are there numbers on this?
Yeah. Some reports are estimating that drones have already helped save, get this, hundreds of millions of metric tons of water.
Whoa!
And cut carbon emissions by an amount equivalent to planting like over 1 billion trees.
1 billion? Okay, that's genuinely addressing those big sustainability questions, isn't it?
It really starts to move the needle. Plus, that precision means less chemical runoff into rivers and ecosystems. That's a huge benefit, too.
We actually saw some videos of this, didn't we? It's quite something watching them work.
It really is.
Just autonomously cruising across the field, sticking exactly to the path, keeping that perfect height above the crops. You can just see how that reduces waste.
And how it lets farmers operate in conditions where, maybe the ground is too wet for heavy machinery, like after heavy rain.
Right, keeps things moving.
And it's not just about remote control flying. These things are packed with tech. GPS for navigation, obviously, but also sensors gathering data as they fly.
Oh, okay, so they're mapping things out.
Yeah, creating these incredibly detailed field maps, showing which areas need more water or less fertilizer or where pests might be starting.
So it's not just about the spraying action itself, it's the intelligence gathering during the spraying.
Exactly. It creates this feedback loop. The drone collects data, the farmer analyzes it, or increasingly AI helps analyze it, and then they can make much, much smarter decisions for the next application or even for other tasks.
Like a real-time health check for the crops?
That's a great way to put it. Some drones have multispectral cameras, other advanced sensors. They can spot early signs of disease, nutrient issues, pests, sometimes before the human eye even could.
Allowing for really early targeted intervention.
Precisely. Treat the problem only where it exists and catch it early.
Now, I'm thinking someone listening might be going, okay, sounds amazing, but expensive, complicated. Is this practical for, your average farmer?
That's a really important question. And yes, the upfront cost, the initial investment, it can definitely be a hurdle, especially for smaller operations.
Right.
But we're seeing solutions emerge. This whole drone as a service model is growing pretty fast.
So like renting the service instead of buying the drone.
Exactly. Farmers can hire a certified operator with their gear. They get the benefits without the big capital outlay or needing to become drone experts themselves or worrying about maintenance. It makes it much more accessible.
That makes sense. Democratizes it a bit.
It does. And the tech itself is getting better and easier to use all the time.
How so?
Well, batteries last longer. They can carry heavier payloads, more liquid, more fertilizer, covering more ground per flight. Obstacle avoidance is getting really sophisticated.
So fewer crashes into trees.
Hopefully. And the software for planning missions and analyzing data is becoming much more intuitive, less intimidating. Some of the newer drones, they can carry quite a bit, making them really efficient for larger areas too.
It's kind of mind-blowing seeing how different places are adopting this. I read that in China, something like a third of their farmland is already being sprayed by drones.
Yeah, the adoption rate there has been incredibly rapid. It shows what can happen when the benefits are clear and, there's support for rolling out the technology.
And it's not just China, right? We're seeing examples everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. All over the globe. Different crops, different challenges. You've got coffee growers in Brazil using them for targeted pesticide application, agave farmers in Mexico saving water, banana farmers in Vietnam improving efficiency.
Wow.
Even smaller farms are finding uses like precise fertilization for high-value specialty crops, stuff that would be super tedious and less accurate to do by hand. The adaptability is really key.
It really feels like we're at a turning point in agriculture, doesn't it?
It does seem that way.
This combination of saving money, helping the environment, getting better results, it's pretty compelling.
And it's that convergence, isn't it?
Yeah.
The tech getting better, cheaper, easier, alongside this growing pressure for more sustainable food production for, well, everyone. The role of these drones just seems set to grow.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. By the way, if you're finding this deep dive interesting and want to see more explorations of tech like this, maybe take a second to like this video and subscribe to DH Tech. It really helps us out.
Definitely. Okay, so maybe we should quickly recap the main points.
Good idea. So we've seen how these agricultural drones are being used for super precise spraying pesticides, fertilizers, you name it, much more targeted than older methods.
And those environmental benefits are huge. We talked about massive water savings, reduced chemical use, and significant cuts in carbon emissions. Real numbers backing that up.
Plus the economic side, farmers saving costs compared to traditional methods, and potentially new jobs cropping up in this whole drone service industry.
And it's not theoretical. We looked at real-world examples in potatoes, sugarcane, bananas, coffee farmers across the globe seeing tangible benefits in yield and using resources way more efficiently.
We also touched on the drones themselves getting better, carrying more, flying longer, avoiding obstacles, and using AI for, smarter farming insights based on the data they collect.
Right. And that rapid growth and adoption, especially seeing places like China embrace it so quickly, alongside evolving regulations worldwide, it really suggests a major shift is underway in farming practices.
Of course, there are still challenges. Initial cost is one, needing some technical know-how, maybe infrastructure issues in some areas. But things like that, drone as a service model, are helping.
Yeah, aiming to lower those barriers.
So, considering all that, the tech advancements, the clear benefits, the growing adoption, it leads to a big question for you watching. Do you think drone spraying is going to become, totally widespread in agriculture? Does it feel like the logical next step for the industry?
Yeah, what are your thoughts? Is this the future of farming as you see it?
We'd love to hear what you think. Drop your insights and opinions in the comments below.
Definitely interested to read those.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of agricultural drones.
It's been fascinating.
We'll see you next time.